but you had it all wrong. Yeah, it takes a few steps just to get it all together. It might hurt now, but it won't last forever. Make those mistakes, that'll make you better. Yeah, you having insecurities with a cigarette and a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, I was a girl at home in the dark all alone, saying, why the hell doesn't he miss me? He acts so tough, like he ain't nothing, 'cause we don't want.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Angie Anderson, and I'd like to welcome you to the Southern Arizona Community Church. And the United Republicans of Green Valley and Sahuarita would like to thank the Southern Arizona Community Church for the generosity of allowing us to use their building. Would you all please stand? Silence your cell phones. I would like to introduce our pastor, Steve Aiken, who will do the invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you under the banner of God and country. And you're the God who sent his only begotten Son, that whosoever, and we are whosoever. You also said, Lord, if your people, and we are your people, cry out to heaven, you'll hear from us and repent and turn of their ways. Lord, you know, evil is currently trying to keep control. They are running your blessed country, the country that you blessed over 245 years ago, and you still bless it today. They're running it into the ground, and it stops today in Jesus' name. It stops today in Jesus' name. Father, bless the speaker, bless Mr. Ho, bless the folks that are here, Lord. But let's not be here to keep our treasure to ourselves and bury it in the backyard. Let's spread the word. Let's let people know. Help us to let people know that we're not alone. With you, we are a majority. We are a majority. We'll maintain the majority under the banner of Jesus Christ and our blessed United States. We give you thanks and praise for all that you've done and what you are going to do to turn this great country around in Jesus' name. And everybody can say, amen. We're going to get a young lady up here. She is my granddaughter, proud Mexican-American, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you don't mind, stay standing. And let me just remind you, if you're looking for a church down here, we're the only church that never closed. We never closed our doors. We never enforced government ideas about putting cloth over your face. Never enforced it, never enforced it. We're a fellowship, and we're going to stay a fellowship. Somebody said, oh, you're going to lose your 501c3. I hope so. I don't care. I don't care. It's God and country, and evil is in control. You're here, I hope, to put an end to that. Let's give reverence to our great country and follow my granddaughter in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yay, you may be seated. Where's Angie? Oh, there she is. Okay.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Libby. I would now like to introduce the president of the United Republicans of Green Valley, Sahuarita, Dr. Yael Wishnick.
Thanks, Angie. First of all, thank you very much, everyone, for being here. This was our challenging weathers as we know it. Some of us a little bit more than others. We're in Arivaca. We weren't sure if we were going to get here today. We get all the rain that comes down from your neck of the woods and it goes on the roads. Anyway, this is an exciting day. We planned this a while back, and I'm going to introduce the person in a moment who really kind of set it up for us. This is kind of a combination of the Republican Party network. If you're not, how many of you are on the Republican Party network? Okay, if you're not on the Republican Party network, it's Republican Party Network, all one word, .com. You almost already forgot that, didn't you? www.republicanpartynetwork.com. And the Republican Party Network has been involved for a couple months. April 26th is when we had our launch. And I want to introduce some folks about regarding this because it's important. Susan Kay, where are you? Oh, Susan Kay, stand up, please. Susan Kay is instrumental in Phoenix. Thank you for getting this off the ground. When we first started this several months ago, we didn't know what was going on, but the reason why we started it had to do exactly with the, okay, Sarah, I'm not following my rules, am I? Thank you. Anyway, when the election took place, the board of directors of the United Republicans Green Valley Sarita decided that it was clear the Republican Party wasn't going to do anything, the fraud. And that was pretty obvious. And we were very upset. And so what we did is, and it took a lot of courage because these are folks, look around and these are the folks, our demographic, and we put a letter together. And this letter went to the National Republican Committee, NRC. The Republican National Committee is in charge of the Republican Party. 150 people, 2 from each state, and every GOP state chair. Okay, that's who runs the Republican Party. That's who runs it. And so we wrote a letter, and we said, this is the Republican National Committee. We said, get on an airplane and fly to Washington, D.C. This is right after the election. And get off your airplane and go to the Department of Justice building and demonstrate and demand that the Department of Justice does an investigation into the fraud. We also then said to every state Republican chair, the Kelly Wards of the world, hold an emergency organizing meeting in your state right now and demand an investigation into the fraud. Well, we got one response back, and it was a friend of ours. And the person said to me, and we don't need to tell you her name, but she said, Yale, are you crazy? And of course, she knew the answer, as most people know. Not only are they not going to do that, they don't want to do that. That's not in their interest. Let's move on. And if you heard from Jenna Ellis a couple of days ago, when she spoke about the Republican Party, they don't make any money off of the audits. They make money when the Democrats are doing all this stuff. So knock it off, move on. Well, at that point, we decided that we weren't going to take that. So we formed the Republican Party Network, and it's a network of networks, every state. And it's designed to turn the Republican Party from a organization that's pretty passive to an activist, action-oriented political party. And thank you. But my final thoughts for you on this is if you didn't remember, it's called the Republican Party Network.com. Right, Judy? And we need you to join it. Because if you don't, there's nothing else. Now, I know that may sound a little, you know, egoist on my part, but there isn't. There is not. Unless we get together and form a network, it's over. And this network does a lot of things. It's a lot of good things, a lot of good people. And we're trying our best. And one of the reasons why this great presenter is here today is because of that network. So I'm going to introduce a few people here first. Kathleen is the LD2 chair, Legislative District 2 chair for our area. Thank you for being here. We have Eileen, who's our first vice chair. Bobby is our second vice chair. Judy is our treasurer and also the treasurer for the Pima County Republicans. Thank you. Diane is the secretary. Where's Diane? Right there, who's our, and also does a lot of media for us. And I want to thank the Legislative District 2 for being here. And I had a special invitation, a special announcement for Angie. And Angie, who is our fourth vice chair and also involved with the Republican Party, the United Republican Green Valley Sarita, in our political action, doing a lot of work there. So this is a broad brush in terms of where we are. And as Sharon indicated to me, are you speaking for 30 minutes? I said, no, 45. And she said, then I'm leaving. So I've got to shut this down. I want to introduce now to you Candace. Where's Candace? Who's going to introduce to you our speaker. Candace is part of the Republican Party Network, plays a major role in it. And she is instrumental for getting Jean here. I want to say one thing, though, before I introduce her. You know, the whole notion of, I'm not going to talk that long. You're being very kind. Most people, you should see the looks I'm getting right now. Anyway, I know you. That's what they've said to you. Don't give him the mic. The thing is that, you know, a picture begins with what, 1,000 words? We've heard that? Okay. Worth 1,000 words. I knew I would. I should have looked that up. Anyway, you know, if you didn't say anything, everybody else would have said, oh, yeah, that's right. You know, who cares? The point is, what you're going to hear today really is a picture worth 80 million voters. And that's with that. And so, Candace, it's yours.
Thank you. We are so excited to have Jean Ho here, all the way from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He drove across the country to be with us tonight, to see all of your friendly faces in person. We are so happy to see all of you here tonight. It's great to meet you. And Jean has a wonderful book, Trumpography, and he's going to share some amazing stories with you tonight. Give a big Arizona welcome to Jean Ho.
All right, let's do this. Let's make sure I'm in the right place here. Let me hear you. Are there any Donald J. Trump fans in the house? All right, pretty good. Let's double check that. Is there any Melania Trump fans in the house? All right, just to make sure, because I am in Tucson. Are there any Hillary Rodham Clinton fans in the house? Whoa! They called me out on that. They did. They said, Gene, have you ever personally met Hillary Rodham Clinton? And I have to say no. I never met her, but I have proof I never met her because I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Best job ever. I was Donald Trump's personal campaign photographer for 2016. Give it up for that, right? Also for 2020, I worked for the campaign, taking pictures of Donald Trump Jr., right? He's a great guy here too. Now, the best thing is right now, I'm also the official photographer for two lovely ladies. How many people know who Diamond and Silk are? Diamond and Silk, right? I was there before Diamond and Silk was even there. And the thing with the campaign, my first name is Gene and my last name is Ho. So the whole time the campaign says, they call me by my first and last name together. So they go there and say, oh, Gene Ho is here. Gene Ho is here. Okay, Diamond and Silk think my name is Gino. I never corrected them. All this time, I thought they were flirting with me, right? Finally, Silk became good friends with Diamond and Silk, and Silk calls me up one day. Gino, baby. What's up, Silk? What are you drinking, some wine? Gino, we want you to take our picture with Donald Trump, and this picture is going into Time magazine, right? That's pretty impressive. I've been a photographer for 25 years. Time magazine's a big deal. So I actually do this. I arrange it, get Diamond and Silk and Donald Trump together, take the most beautiful picture. And the thing is, for the next 2 weeks and 3 weeks, I'm going to the grocery store every single day to try to look for the magazine, because I'm not going to go to actually subscribe to that dumb magazine, right? So I go there every single time. Okay, no, the picture's not in there. 2 weeks later, go back. Oh, the picture's not in there. Finally, 8 weeks later, I get my photo published in Time magazine. Donald Trump and Diamond and Silk, give it up for that, right? Then I look at the picture and I scroll down and it says, photo credit by Gino Ho. So everyone's always asking me the first thing they say, Gene, how in the world did you get a job taking pictures of Donald Trump? That's a pretty big deal, right? So I'll walk you through the story. First of all, you have to remember, I've been a photographer at the time for 25 years. That's pretty much a long time. But the thing is, I was honestly, never did much with politics, but I was very famous. I had a training video that went viral, 5.5 million views for a training video. In the United States, I think there's only 50,000 actually professional photographers. I was known, I used to give talks in Las Vegas to professional photographers, and I was so advanced. I was so advanced in this that companies would give me their equipment to use for free, as long as they said, hey, Gene Ho is using this camera equipment. So it was a big deal, but I never did really anything with politics. But then this magazine called me up and they said, Gene, we want you to take pictures at this convention. And so all these people had no idea who they were. There was a person named Ben Carson. He was there, right? Didn't know who he was. And another person, Ted Cruz, was there. And here's the thing. The one person I did know was Donald Trump. And I couldn't believe he was there. But here's a crazy thing. Donald Trump's people knew exactly who I was. So I walk in there and they said, oh, Gene Ho is here. Gene Ho is here. Mr. Trump, Gene Ho is here. And Donald Trump said, who in the hell is Gene Ho? So they say, okay, Gene, let's do this. We'll take you up to his airplane and you can meet Donald Trump personally. I was like, okay, this is cool. And so I was actually pretty excited, because here's the thing. The trick to meeting Donald Trump to impress him is that when you meet him, you just got to pretend like it's no big deal. So I was like, oh, hello, Mr. Trump. Meanwhile, I'm texting my wife, I can't believe it. I'm on his airplane. So I was trying to be cool with Donald Trump. And finally, I just had to be like, okay, Mr. Trump, I'm just going to confess, huge fan of yours. I have like all your books, and just like, this is just an amazing time to actually meet you. And this was probably this was like 3 months before he even ran for president. So this was early on. And I was just being honest with him. And he says, Gene, we're going to get along because you love me and I love me. So it was the best thing. I'm on his airplane and talk with him, and we started having small talk and we get along, and I leave the plane, and then the surprise of a lifetime came. The guy says, and the guys there with him said, Gene, we know you're here taking pictures of the convention, but would you like to be Donald Trump's personal photographer for just a day? I was like, wow, that is the coolest thing. So the next thing I know, I am sitting in the green room with just Donald Trump and his one bodyguard. And so I'm following him around for the day. And we're in a green room. It was probably double the size of this stage area right here. And I'm just hanging out with Donald Trump. And we're backstage. And then all of a sudden, I hear a knock on the door. Hold on, Mr. Trump, I'll get this. I opened the door, and it was a guy from the kitchen staff. And he goes, "Hey, I heard Donald Trump is back there in this room." Maybe. "Is there any way I could get a cell phone picture with him?" I said, "Hold on, let me check." "Mr. Trump, there's someone from the kitchen staff. He would like to know if he could get a photo of you on his cell phone." "No problem." Okay. "Okay." He said yes, but you got to be quick. And then he goes, "Is there any way after that photo, if I can get a video of him saying that I'm fired?" Listen, dude, you're not going to believe this is my first day at work here. If you want to do that, you can ask him. Well, I'm not going to ask him. He goes, "Okay, okay." So the guy does this. He goes there and takes a selfie with Donald Trump. And this is the next thing. I could not believe this. This is true. He goes, "Donald, can I get a video of you saying that I'm fired?" "No problem." "Okay, ready, go." "You're fired." He goes, "No, no, 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 no. You have to use my name. You have to use my name." "No problem. I'll use your name." "Okay, ready, go." "Joseph, you're fired." And he goes, "Hold up. I was on photo and not video." So the guy leaves the room and I'm like, wow, I just couldn't believe what I just saw. And so I go up to Donald Trump. I go, "Mr. Trump, I'll be honest. Big fan of yours, but I photograph a lot of celebrities. I'll be honest. I thought, I mean, that was a kitchen staff. I thought you'd be the biggest jerk to the guy. But, you know, to be honest, you are really amazing." And he goes, "Thanks. Now you're fired." So it was the best thing ever. Ended up that I took pictures for Donald Trump, and it was a wonderful experience. I have to say, this whole thing with Donald Trump was just amazing. And I got a chance to take pictures of him from the beginning of the campaign all the way to the end. And then you get to see a lot of things during that time. And here's the thing about Donald Trump. He is just an amazing, amazing person. And I'm going to tell you a couple of stories about how this all happened and all this stuff with him. The first thing that I noticed about him is I ended up being the photographer for the backstage VIP area. So some of my photos, I worked for Dan Scavino and gave him the photos, and some of these photos made it onto the Twitter. I gave some of the other photos that I took went on to like if they had a Donald Trump bus, and it went on the Donald Trump bus. So it was really neat. But primarily what I did was work behind the scenes and took pictures of Donald Trump when he was backstage. So these were VIP rooms. And the interesting thing about the VIP room, which I love, it was probably the best way to describe it in politics. If you know anything about that, if you want to get a picture with someone that's like a senator or something, normally you would have to be a humongous supporter of the campaign. Most of these people I saw there, I mean, they were just campaign workers, volunteers. And at any given time, there was maybe backstage, maybe like 50 people ready for photos with Donald Trump. And here's the amazing thing about it. When I went back there, when Donald Trump would walk into the room, a lot of times there were celebrities there, but Donald Trump would beeline past all the celebrities and go to the back of the room where all the first responders and the police were, and he would shake all their hands first. Right. This is an amazing, amazing person that we have as president of the United States. Here's the other thing. Early on, it was interesting because you remember there was a time where the media said that Donald Trump made fun of people that were handicapped. Okay, I was there, but here's a story way before then that was very interesting when it came to that. So early on, Donald Trump would walk into this room And there was in one of the rooms that I was with him, and I was just following him around. There was this person there that was a quadriplegic. So he was in a wheelchair. He even had to move his wheelchair around with his mouth. It was like he had this thing where he controlled it. To prove it, this person, I didn't know him at the time, but he ended up being a good friend of mine. His name is Joey Thomas. And the thing about it is Donald Trump walked into the room and he walked up to this person. This was long before, this was about 3 months before he even ran for president. He started talking to the person, my friend now, who's my friend, and I'm a photographer. So what's my job to do is to sit there and stay back and take pictures of this event. After that happened, I'll be honest, this was early on in my career with Donald Trump. I felt like the biggest king in the world because I got a chance to go to Corey Lewandowski and Trump and say, look at me, I got the picture with Donald Trump talking to the quadriplegic and all this stuff, and it made him so human looking. I said, here you go, here's for the campaign. And the interesting thing about it, Donald Trump refused to use that photo. He says, no, this is not about him being a quadriplegic. I was just talking to him and we're not using it. And that was no problem right there. But the interesting thing about it was after this time, and I was there when they said Donald Trump was making fun, if you remember, of a New York Times reporter. I was there. It's taken out of context and just shows you how people take things out of context. Basically, the best way I could describe it is if I told my son, listen, no cookies after 9 p.m. And then I find him in the kitchen eating cookies. And I was like, oh, no, Dad. I was just, that's what he was doing. But the thing about that, I felt like the hero at that time, because when that happened and the media got on his case about, oh, Donald Trump is making fun of people of handicaps, I said to him, I said, listen, guys, I have that picture. I had that picture with Donald Trump talking dearly to a quadriplegic. Here you go. Still, Donald Trump refused to use the photo. You know, it's amazing this person that we know as Donald Trump and what the media portrayed him to be and how they did that. The other amazing thing about Donald Trump is this. Early on, he was talking to a person who is a mother. I think they call it a Gold Star mother. I got to double check it. It's not the mothers that were military officers, but it was the ones where it was their son got killed by a illegal alien. Is that called Gold Star? What is that? Angel moms. Okay, sorry. Gold Star is with the, okay, angel moms. Okay, so Donald Trump is talking with one of the angel moms. Just had a meeting and talks to her. She tells her story and everything else. Do you know, 5 years later, when Donald Trump was in the White House, this was probably 2 or 3 years before, at least maybe 2 years before, he did this while he was not even president yet. He talked to this angel mom. And this angel mom later on went into the White House on just a regular visit. Donald Trump saw her and he says, oh, hello, Dom's mom, how you doing? He remembered her from like 3 years before and mentioned her because he remembered by face what this lady was doing and what went after this, what happened to him. Guys, give it up. Do we have a great American president 45 here? The other amazing thing about it is that during this time, it was amazing because the one thing that they said was constantly, Donald Trump's such a racist. Oh, he's just a racist. And you know what the thing is? Early on, I had a chance to see Donald Trump. I worked for the whole 2 years. And early on, I'll be honest, it was really wonderful because when I was first there, I had power because I was able to say, hey, guys, you know what? Do you want to meet Donald Trump? I had the power to actually call meet and greets. But then later on, the campaign got so big and I wasn't able to do that anymore. So the thing was, I always thought that I could have Donald Trump meet my wife and my son. I thought it was always there. And then later on, about halfway through, a year later, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh man, I got to have my wife and child, my son, meet Donald Trump. And so what I ended up doing, I had to make an appointment for that. And so I did that. Donald Trump, and this is what I really love about him. I call this the company picnic version of your boss, whether he's a good boss or a bad boss. And so, you know, I meet Donald Trump's there and he meets my wife and child for the first time. And it was interesting because when you have something like that, the bosses could do one of two things. I've had many jobs over my lifetime. I worked for Burger King. I worked for a place like Lowe's, like basically stocking. I mean, I was just a regular job person. And then, but I've known over the years, I seen the company picnics. And to have Donald Trump meet my wife and my son, and Donald Trump just spoke glowingly of me. And to me, it felt good because, you know, most of the time, bosses could go to one of two ways. Oh, hey, how are you doing? Okay, get back to work, or, you know, just make you feel like you know, low with that. Donald Trump built me up, and I'll never forget it. He says, you know what? Gene has been such a wonderful asset to the campaign. And look at your son, just beautiful, just beautiful. And I have my son is biracial, and he doted on my son like it was his own grandchild. And it was just amazing. And I'm going to tell you something about minorities here. Growing up as a minority, we are hypersensitive to prejudice. Like we're really good at it. I mean, I've been to rooms when I was growing up, you know, oh, hey, how are you doing? And then I turn my back and you know, they're making Chinese slant eyes at me or whatever. I grew up with that. Most people that are minority can sense that right away. I never had that. Donald Trump, I'm going to tell you, is the most remarkable person. And the thing is, he doesn't have a racist bone in his body. My wife and I have been to Asian restaurants before with my son, and we have not gotten served. We basically went there, sat down, and an Asian restaurant, because my son was biracial, they would not serve us. And then we just walked out. We never complained about it, never did anything. We're like, if they don't want our money, they don't have to have it. But I'm used to it. I grew up very familiar with racism, and Donald Trump, I can tell you, is not a racist. And here's the thing. Why isn't it that all this stuff, when they're talking about racism, why is it that they never went to me, who is right there, seeing all this stuff, and just asked me, you know, just ask me, set the record straight. You see him behind the scenes. Is he a racist? So what I ended up doing is I saw a very, very beautiful man. And I tell you what, I had the most wonderful time doing this. And here's the other thing about it. Everyone always asks me, well, what's the best thing? What's the best thing that ever happened to you with the campaign? And I had to think about that. You know, what was the greatest moment? And I'll never forget it, because here I was doing this, and then Donald Trump finally came to my home city of Myrtle Beach. He actually started there, and then like a year later, he came back there, and it was a big deal because the campaign was going really well. Donald Trump was going to town, and it was the most awesome thing because people were saying, "Oh, Gene, now could you get us tickets? Could you get us tickets?" And everyone wants to hit you up. There was one guy. He was a doctor. He goes, "Gene, what would it take for you to get me tickets to Donald Trump, except for I want Donald Trump to be standing here, and I want the very first seat right here." Dude, I can't do that for you. He goes, no. I'm a doctor. Just tell me what it costs. He's up here, and I'm in the front row. Okay. So you're a doctor, right? He goes, yeah, I'm a doctor. Just name your price. You know I have 4 children, right? He goes, yeah. Go. I get you front row tickets right here, and you give me a free vasectomy. He goes, done. I bartered a free vasectomy. I'm the only one in this room that could say, Donald J. Trump has made my sex life great again. Thank you. So overall, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience with Donald Trump. But here's the thing. During this time, I was what you call part of the silent majority. I was actually a liberal before all this began. You have to remember, I'm a photographer, I'm in the arts. At one time, my photography business was so big. I had 25 photographers working under me. So you could just imagine what I'm doing in the photography world. Like I said, I was famous. There were magazines would write stories about me, photography magazines. So I had it going on, but I was a big liberal. To show you how much, in the height of it, my wife was working, I was working. I had my children in private school, and I had a full-time nanny. And this full-time nanny was LGBT. My company supported all of the liberal causes, all of them. Like you would have events and it would say sponsored by Gene Ho Photography, or these transsexual pageants that they had sponsored by Gene Ho Photography. I had LGBT members working for me. It was no big deal for me. And the thing is, I was their champion. You know, as a straight man supporting LGBT rights, I was their hero. Here's the thing. I was also part of the silent majority, because here's what's happened in America. They actually flip-flopped. The thing about being the liberal, which I loved, because when I was a photographer, I was being featured in the magazines, and photographers get jealous of other photographers. It just happens, right? So during this time, I was doing a great business and basically throwing down in the photography community. And people would talk about me, make up lies about me. It's just what they do. So I love being a liberal because the basic rule of liberalism is simple. You don't judge me unless you get to know me. If you meet me and you don't like me, that's fine. I understand that. But until you meet me, don't talk about me. Don't make lies about me because you don't know me. That's what liberalism really is. Here's the thing. During this time, all this time, when I was working for Donald Trump, I was part of the silent majority. So as part of the silent majority, I would have my photographers ask me, Gene, how in the world could you work with this racist, this xenophobe? And you know what I would say? I hate to admit it. I would just say, no, it's just a job. It's just a job. And the thing was, I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted to support Donald Trump, but at the same time, I wanted also to keep all my employees, keep that beloved space I had with everybody. They loved me. I'm telling you, this was the love that people had for me. Also, my community was unbelievable. But on the last day before election, this was in 2016. On the last day, what I did was I said, listen, I got to stand up for something. So I changed my Facebook profile from private to public. And the day before election day, I did the last job for Donald Trump during that time. I came home to my family and I penned a endorsement for Donald Trump. And then the next day he won. Isn't that great? That was just a wonderful day. Now, what I didn't expect to happen during this time is that I didn't know that the world would come crashing down on me for supporting Donald Trump. My photographers started to quit on me. And these were family members, or I say like family members, people that have been with me 8 years, 10 years, that wrote me the nastiest emails saying, listen, we're leaving your company. We don't want to do anything, have anything to do with you. People started boycotting my company. And all people say, how could you be my dad said, how could they boycott a photography company? I'll tell you, it's very, very simple. As a wedding photographer, what they do is they go to the venue that you're at. Like, let's say this was a venue. Let's say we're not in a church, but this is a church, but a resort, right? They go to the person over here in charge of it and they say, oh, we're getting married here. Can we see your preferred vendors list? And then they see my name there and they say, oh, I can't get married to this place. You support a man that supports a racist. We're out of here. We're out of here. And then people started taking us off their preferred vendors list. On top of that, I have been in business 30 years. During that time, I have never been audited by the IRS. When I first started with Donald Trump, I got audited the first time. Once I did that and Donald Trump won, I got audited the second time. And my CPA said that this audit was the worst audit she ever seen in her 45 years as a CPA. It was brutal. And I know what was going on here because now I know what the magic number is. And when you have a big photography business, $50,000 is not over $50,000 over 3 years is not a big thing to climb. We're talking about 50,000 in non-qualifying deductions. So they go there and say, oh, let me see these receipts. Oh, no, this doesn't qualify. Well, let me see these. Oh, no, this doesn't qualify. What's this over here? Oh, goes $1,000, $2,000, $1,000, $500. Just keeps crawling up and up and up. And I don't know if you know what happens at 50,000. At 50,000, they could say, you know what? This is criminal. This is criminal. And so I went from the top of everything. You know, Trump won, everything is wonderful. And suddenly for 9 months, I was going through this audit. And it was during this time, I just didn't know what to do. My wife and children normally travel with me, but I mean, we actually, before this, my wife and I, we talked about divorce, and then we got into this to get together, where all of a sudden our world just came crashing down on us. And at the 9-month mark, it was the second or third sit down with the IRS. They have sit downs along the way, and I'll never forget it. I was in the room, and I was preparing it, and there was my CPA. So I put a chair out for the CPA, and then the IRS agent. And this IRS agent, by the way, was not the normal one. This was like the head guy of the area. And I set a chair for me, and I didn't know what to do. So I set out an extra chair, and I said, Jesus Christ, if you could please sit in this chair and watch what they're doing to me. And after that, I decided to dedicate my life to Jesus Christ. And I tell you, you know, the thing is, when this all happened, it was the best thing in the world, because they say that faith grows in darkness. And I tell you what, my wife and I sat down and we went through all of this together. I mean, just to prove it, my book, it's when you don't say like who's dedicated to, I dedicated my book to my CPA. like really, how are you a CPA and you get your book dedicated? Like my CPA saw what they were doing to me, and then she represented me for free during this time, because she saw what was going on to me. And so after that, I have to say it was interesting, because during that time, you know, I don't have my photography business anymore. If I do have, like, if someone asks me to do something, that's fine, but I don't do 1099s, W-2s anymore. I don't have any employees. I don't have the business I once have. I don't have the money that we once had. But here's the thing. I have something better. I have my family, and I have Jesus in my life. And I tell you what, it is wonderful. It is wonderful. And the thing with the book that's so interesting, and why I tell everyone about that, and it's interesting now because now there's a whole slew of these nasty books that are coming out with Donald Trump, about Donald Trump. Here's the thing about this book, which is the most interesting thing. When I wrote this book, I was getting audited by the IRS, so I didn't have any money. I mean, really, I don't know if you could quite understand what it's like to be with a company with 25 photographers. I used to be that guy where I would take out my photographers and their families on any given Wednesday night. To give you an idea, this right here, this room right here, this is not quite 30 people, but this is about the crowd that every Wednesday night, yeah, come on down, we're gonna eat, go, the beer was on me, and at the end of the night, I was that guy. No, one ticket to me. I mean, I was that guy. And I went from that to basically asking my mom for money, my sister for money. I even had, and I'll never forget it, I even had letters, emails written out to people saying, listen, you know what? I know this sounds weird, but is there any way you could loan me some money? I mean, it was like that. But during that time, I was writing this book, and I'm going to show you, I did not have a non-disclosure agreement. The reason why I could say that with all certainty is because here was the campaign. I was there 3 months before the campaign even started. So they never had a non-disclosure. There was no campaign. So in this book I wrote, I could have wrote a book of lies. And as a photographer, I don't know if you know this, it's so easy to lie as a photographer because I have a camera and it has what's called metadata. So I could just look at a picture and I could look at all the other people there, and it has a date stamp and a time stamp. And I could say, on this date, I was backstage with Donald Trump, and this woman was there, and it was right there when I saw him making a pass at her, and he did this, he harassed her. I could have told some good lies, really good lies. Instead, and during this time, what do you think that would be worth to cash out money-wise? They were giving $1 million advances to people that only spent a fraction of the time with Donald Trump. And here, I would have been the darling of CNN as a minority to go there and say, listen, guys, you would not believe what I saw backstage. And I have the time and date stamps and everything. But I decided to tell the truth about what Donald Trump is really like. And I tell you this, I never regretted it. And that's what Donald Trump deserves. He's a wonderful man. You guys support him still, Donald Trump? So thinking about all this stuff, you know, one of the things I want to talk about, and then I believe we'll take some questions, is I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in America and why this group is so important. Number one, today, the movement that we're doing is stronger than ever before. Don't let them fool you. It's stronger than ever before. The difference is it is fractured. Donald Trump had a decision to make after this election. He could have said one of two things. He could have said, hey, I'm going to start my own party and we're going to call it, let's say, the Patriot Party. He could have done that, or he could have said, no, let me reform the Republican Party and let me do it that way. Donald Trump has done amazing things since he has left office. He has reformed, to the best degree, the Republican Party. He declared figurative war on like 20 individuals that he named as CPAC. And these are the ones that voted to impeach him. It's all out figurative war on these people. But he got Liz Cheney removed, and that was not an easy feat to do. Right. So right now, just so you know, the Republican, I shouldn't say the Republican Party, the conservative movement is fractured right now. It definitely is fractured. This is how it's fractured. You have the Never Trumpers who are now public. The Never Trumpers are now public. You have the Liz Cheneys, and there's another guy, I don't even know his name. I think he's in Ohio or something. Well, you have these groups that don't support Trump. And don't be fooled, by the way, with the amount of money they're raising, because this is deep state money that's going to them. Then you have the traditional Republican Party people. And the problem is they don't always agree with what I call the Patriot Party or the Super MAGA Party or whatever you want to call them. These people that support this new so-called Patriot Party are wonderful people. Some of them are people that never been part of the Republican Party to begin with. And what you have going on in America is a divide between these people and these people, which I call the super deplorables. There are people who love everything that's going on, but they're just not part of the establishment. And the one person that's going to tie them all in when it comes to election time is Donald Trump, because the one thing that we all know exactly is Donald Trump's going to do it. But in the meantime, what we need to do is we need to stay positive in all we do, and we need to stick together because the Democratic Party is coming after us. And the other thing about that is we all need to do our share in this. I asked myself what my share is going to be in this, and I decided to run for mayor of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So thank you. Never been public office, you know, and the thing is, I asked myself, you know, what is it? Why is it that I'm running? It's for my children. It's for our children and your grandchildren. We can't stop here and say, listen, you know what, we're not going to do anything. We have to get involved in this. We really do. And the thing is, the reason why everyone's so scared about that is because people ask me, aren't you scared? They're gonna say this about you, and they're gonna write this article and make lies about you. I'm not scared. Here's the thing. They're gonna write whatever they want to write. They could do whatever they want to do. You know what? I don't even care. I don't. And the thing is, I'm having the time of my life, man. I'm traveling around the world, our country, doing all this stuff with my family. I'm having a good time. But it's our responsibility to do what we can. It doesn't have to be running for mayor. It could be volunteering for the school boards. It could be running for the school board. Whatever it is just up to us to continue to do what we need to do. And so with that, I do appreciate you coming out. I do have, I'm going to take some questions in a little bit, but afterwards I have my book for sale for $30 and a couple of pictures for sale too. Pay cash so I don't have to report it to the IRS. Joking, joking, joking. Joking. My wife hates that joke, by the way. But help me out there. But I have to say thank you very much for this. And if anyone, does anyone have any questions, or is there a mic? Or you can yell it out. Okay, we'll take a few questions. We got a few minutes. Okay, yes, sir. Okay. 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 Yeah, do you need a mic or okay. All right, let's keep the so we have plenty of time for everyone else. Oh, thank you.
So I'll just make this short. Testing one, okay.
Yeah.
So what I did is, being I come from a military family, I saw what happened to my dad in World War II, Korea.
Yeah.
And I lost him very young, but not physically, mentally. And then my brother, Vietnam, saw him the same. So when Desert Storm started, I saw this event going through it, and then I was in the heart of the explosives with Tomahawk, Maverick, all these things. And then 9/11 happened. I saw it on TV. Right away, I got on my car because I work secret. I had a red badge. Going down 125 miles an hour. Cop pulls me over and says, "What's your hurry?" I go, "Look, we just got hit." I said, "Here's my badge. I got to get down there. They're going to want me as soon as possible." So he went ahead and took me down there. I got there. They said, "Look, you've got 3 weeks to get yourself organized. Come back. You're not leaving this place till we find out who hit us. And then we're going to change the warhead, Tomahawk warhead." No, yeah, Tomahawk
Okay,
warhead.
yeah, it's okay. Just, do you have a question or
The only
it's cool.
question
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing, if you got to go through the memorial, which I don't know if you did,
Okay.
it's going to show you what I do.
Okay.
All right. And I was willing to help you out. The memorial's outside. I didn't take the whole thing, but I got quite a bit of it outside.
Oh, that thing.
Trailer.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a 9/11 car in there
Okay.
that actually was Arlington's memorial. It was an Arlington's memorial in 2002, honoring the 9/11. They had my car there.
Okay. Definitely, we'll check it out right after. Thank you very much. Okay. Right back here.
I heard Melania's photographer one time say that when things got really rough and people got down, that she was the strong one and would just fire everybody up and keep them going. Can you tell us a little bit about her?
This is the best. I love that question. And here's the best thing. Melania Trump inspired me probably the most, but let me tell you why. When I was part of the campaign in 2016, I very rarely saw Melania Trump. But why was that? Because she was home with Barron. Here's the thing. During this time when I was on the campaign, I had a full-time nanny in my house. And I was thinking to myself, how is this possible? You know, here I am, not the billionaire, and here's a billionaire's wife, and she could have a nanny, and she's spending time with her son. So I obviously I met Melania Trump, but I didn't spend too much time with her, but that's how she inspired me, because she put her family first.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
Great. Two more
Yep,
questions.
2 more questions, please. Let's do this one right here, please.
Okay. Excuse me.
No, you know what? No, I was not there. Was not there with now that event is like embedded in everyone's mind. But at the time, it was like no one knew that was going to be. It was a changing point with that. But I do remember the first event, that was an event. But the first event after that, I was there at that event, and it was amazing because that was when it went from one bodyguard, which was Keith Schiller, to now about 5 or 6 bodyguards that he paid for himself. So that was historic. But it was historic how the campaign just exploded after that.
Wow.
Okay, let's do one more right here.
If or when he runs in 2024, are you going to be his photographer again?
Well, I hope that he'll be our president next year. Okay, could we do one more? Who had the question right here? One more? We'll just do one more. Diane, okay, good.
So I wanted to thank you for your Christian witness. I wanted to say God bless you. And I want to say he's coming back in 21. And I'm looking at August.
All right.
I am looking at August. Trump 21, baby.
Well, guys, thank you so much for everything. I appreciate it. By the way, I'm going to be over there signing books. And if you want to chat or get a picture, please do. And guys, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it.